For centuries, this land was the heart of the Silk Road, wielding influence from the Mediterranean to China. Long dormant, modern-day Uzbekistan is again emerging, restoring regional ties and seeking to bring peace to its war-torn southern neighbor, Afghanistan.
First time over the past 40 years, we have serious reasons to be optimistic.
Will they be able to play a decisive role? I don't know, but they'll be there long after we are.
We travel from the capital of Uzbekistan into Afghanistan and the city of Mazar-e-Sharif to explore the Silk Road.
My people, my country don't need soldier, man. We need nurse, we need doctors, we need engineers. God, make Afghanistan better in the future. It's my hope.
Uzbekistan is an ancient land with some grand ambitions, and it's opening up to the outside world for the first time in a century. Welcome to Tashkent, the capital of Uzbekistan. It's a Saturday night during the month of Ramadan, and the day's fasting is over. Everyone's out. Uzbekistan is Central Asia's most populous country, home to roughly half of the region's 70 million people. Uzbekistan is also a young nation. The average Uzbek is just 28 years old. Hundreds of thousands are joining the workforce each year. It's also a new country, gaining independence in 1991 after more than a century of Russian imperial, then Soviet rule. After years of isolation, there's a new president at the helm. And he's reforming Uzbekistan's economy and encouraging this newly independent nation to look outwards. We're on the Tashkent Broadway.
У нас происходит баттл, противостояние танцоров, в Узбекистане. У нас все круто тут, очень круто. Слава богу, у нас тут то, что раньше нас выгоняли танцоров с таких мест, но сейчас разрешили, нам даже клиент подарил колонку нам, чтобы мы танцевали здесь.
For most of the last century, the former Soviet Republic of Uzbekistan and its Central Asian neighbors were isolated from the outside world, forced to dance to Moscow's tune. Joseph Stalin drew the borders of the Soviet Union's 5 Central Asian republics in a way that would ensure their allegiance. Even after Soviet rule ended, Uzbekistan remained closed. The young nation's first president kept the country isolated, fearful opening up would undermine Uzbekistan's fledgling sovereignty.
These countries that were conjured up out of a single cultural area by the Soviet Union in the 1920s, when they suddenly were independent, and they had to create all sorts of institutions, constitutions, foreign embassies, a flag, the works. And it wasn't at all clear that any of them were going to make it. Quarter century later, it's very clear that they survived. And they suddenly realized, okay, it's time to link arms.
When Uzbekistan hosted a summit of the region's foreign ministers, they included Afghanistan.
Occasionally you read in the paper that a new island has popped up, or geologists say whole continents pop up from... That's what's happened. This world region has popped up.
The region is now forging its own foreign policy. Uzbekistan is taking the lead, reaching out to its southern neighbor.
Afghanistan historically was always an integrated part of this historic and cultural area. It is very important for Afghanistan to be integrated to Central Asia and to be a part of this one single cultural, political, economic area.
The strands of Afghanistan and Uzbekistan's economic and cultural integration are already coming together. Samarkand is a 5-hour drive to the south of the Uzbek capital, halfway to Afghanistan at the crossroads of ancient trade routes. In the Samarkand Silk Carpet Workshop, this is the only concession to modernity you'll find. It's the first step in the creation of a carpet that by the 15th century had become so famous, the German geographer Ferdinand von Richthofen named the network of routes it was ferried along after it, calling them the Silk Road. Germans are still drawn here as tourists, and like any good salesman, Abdullah Badgizi speaks their language.
Zwei Fäden, zwei Kette, wir haben für ein Knot in hier und dann zuerst wir haben von oben Kette und von hinten Kette.
Abdullah owns the workshop. He's also a tour guide today. Trained as a medical doctor in Afghanistan, Abdullah switched careers and answered his family's call to come with them to Uzbekistan and breathe life into the nearly lost art of carpet making here.
Ich bin schnellste in dieser Arbeit, weil ich bin Manager. Ich mache 5 Knoten pro Minute. Aber diese Damen, die können nur 40 machen. Nicht in Teppich.
Upwards of 500 tourists a day come through his doors. His handcrafted carpets can have over 1 million knots per square meter and can take more than a year to make. On the streets of London or New York City, these traditional carpets can go for tens of thousands of dollars. They'll even do ultra-modern custom jobs like this Jackson Pollock replica. But it's one thing for an Afghan to bring his business to Uzbekistan. Doing business in Afghanistan comes with extraordinary risks. Next time on the New Silk Road.
What they're talking about on the economic side is not selling rugs and stuff like that. They're talking about real investments.
We don't want to use our financial, economic, and political resources for protection of Uzbekistan from terrorism, extremism, from the wars, and so on.
The fact that the countries in the region have realized that continuation of war and violence in Afghanistan is not in their interest, is a progress, and that will help us in achieving our ultimate goal of a peaceful and stable Afghanistan.
We visit a college where Uzbekistan is training a new generation of Afghan teachers.
Bir narsa sindirilgan, shu urush. O'quvga bora olmaydilar, shu o'zi shu yoshiga yetadi, 7-8 bo'ladi, bularni mollarni izidan shu chorvachilik deb yuboradi. Agar men xususan o'zim nasib bo'lsa ertaga eng birinchi
Thank me. Welcome back to Impeachment After Dark Live, the only TV show that's being sued by 6 federal judges and all 12 Vanderpumps. It's fantastic, folks. Now, I canceled my press conference today so I could be here to recap the deranged details of the latest Democrat hoax. But first, I'm very excited about this, folks. Very excited. With the impeachment hearings heating up, I had to fly to England. Which means we're coming to you live from the UCK.